Good morning. Thank you for joining us for breakfast. We're going to do a mid-season interruption and kind of go over some thoughts that we've been having. We're in between our midlife crisis and trying to figure out what direction we want to head. We own Happy Jack. It's paid off. We cash flow basically everything we have, and we are essentially debt free. We owe a little bit left on our mortgage on our home, and so that will be paid off in the next year or two, and then we'll be completely debt free, and that has put us at a crossroads for retirement. And so we've looked at several avenues. Do we keep Happy Jack? Do we sell Happy Jack? Do we upgrade to a different boat? So we're trying to make sense out of life, which is, I think, what we're all doing. So Andrea, what's your what are some of the options we've been looking at?
Well, some of the options we were looking at, initially we were discussing a catamaran. There's more room for people to come visit us and be comfortable and have their own space so that they don't feel like they're just invading our bubble. Monohulls, you're always in close quarters. I think no matter how big your monohull is, you're going to be feeling like you're in close quarters with people. And we discussed switching over to a catamaran, but we've never actually sailed on a catamaran. We've hung out on many people's catamarans, and at anchor they're fantastic. They're great for entertaining, and just that space that you get with a catamaran, top side and down below, just makes it a very comfortable place to hang out and enjoy time while you're out on the water. But like I said, we've never sailed one, so we don't know what that's like. We know for a fact that they don't point as well when sailing upwind.
What that means is Happy Jack can go 28 degrees off of the wind. So basically, if the wind is my middle finger, we can go as close to the wind as this. A catamaran is more like 45 degrees at the maximum, sometimes 50 degrees. And so that's more like that. So that angle of sailing means that you have to wait an extra day or two or run the engines that much more to go into the wind.
Yeah, and we tend to run into catamaran owners that motor the majority of the time.
All the time.
And we don't like to run our motor. We like to use that free, beautiful wind energy.
Like today, it's quiet.
God has provided us.
Doesn't cost us anything. It's quiet. There's no fumes.
Yeah, it's very peaceful. So that's the first thing we started discussing when we were talking about possibly changing to a different boat. Then we started discussing, well, what are your thoughts on a motor vessel, on a trawler? We have quite a few friends that we've met this season that live aboard trawlers, and they're very nice. They give you that space and comfortability that you don't get on the monohull, similar to the catamaran. Everybody we met that has a motor trawler that we got to tour their vessel has an actual living room with a couch.
A sofa.
And the kitchen space is nice.
And lazy boys and a full-size residential refrigerator.
So it's like having an apartment, an actual apartment on the water. But then you are stuck motoring, period.
Yeah.
So
you don't move unless you drift. And your speed isn't any greater typically than a sailboat. You cruise at 5.5 to 6 knots, which is what we typically cruise at. Mm-hmm. And you pay for fuel for every inch that you move. The motor trawler owners that we visited with, they typically spend about $6,000 a year on fuel. We typically spend about less than $600 on fuel.
Yeah.
And we go 3,000 miles a season. And so, last season we used 21 gallons of diesel. This year we used 45 gallons of diesel. We don't have the numbers for that yet, but my point is that $6,000 is a fixed number for if you're going to cruise all year round on that style boat.
Yeah. So, and then, there's kind of a third option, which would be a motor trawler that also has a set of sails. We met a lovely couple on the motor vessel, yes, Andy and Amanda, this season.
Hey guys.
Has that exact setup. They have a lovely motor trawler and a set of sails, and they utilize their sails, which I think is just fantastic to have that option, so you're just not dead in the water. Or if you want a nice, quiet, moving day, that you can use those sails, but still have the comfortability that's provided by the trawler.
So the other thing that we're looking at is, most of you know, we've been looking to build a retirement home on Grand Bahama, and that is still in the
Mike
works.
Rowe. Today is Wednesday, 19th of July, 2023. The Margaritaville is in port this morning with a passenger count of 1,380 passengers. 1,380 passengers for the island of Grand Bahama. People who are working in the tourism business, straw vendors, taxi cab drivers, tour operators, whether you're swimming with the pigs, Garden of the Groves, Pirates Cove, Turtle Cove, wherever you are in the tourism business, we now understand and know the power that we have in being nice. The return of love for our tourists and being nice, we are benefiting from that. Because we are lovable people, caring people, we are getting a return. Tourists wanting to come back to the Bahamas, not just to visit, but to stay and to build vacation homes, to be around the nicest people in the world. We have to be nice, and there's a return. So watch this video that is coming up next on what happens when we show our gratitude, a wonderful attitude, the power of love, mercy, and the power of God.
Okay. The reason I love the Bahamas so much and that I want to make the Bahamas my home is the people of the Bahamas. I have been so blessed and so touched by the community and the love that has been shown towards me here. The people of the Bahamas remind me of the people that I went to church with my grandparents when I was a child. And I haven't seen people like that or interacted with people like that in a really long time. And it means the world to me. It really does.
Thank you so much for that compliment. Thank you, and we love you.
Thank you.
This season we met with the government of Grand Bahama, and we had talked out possibly building a small eco resort on Grand Bahama. Nothing fancy. That's the whole point, is to have it be nice and quaint and inexpensive. A hotel on Grand Bahama is anywhere from $160 to $300. We want to make it affordable to the masses, and also help it pay our home. Like I mentioned, we try to cash flow things, and we don't have $500,000 to invest into constructing an eco resort, but we would live there full time, and the eco resort would be on our property. So we went from just being selfish and being a homeowner where we can tie up the boat on the canal, to getting a canal lot where we could host 3 or 4 vessels of our size, plus a small fleet of rental boats where we can take people spearfishing, take them to dinner on the canal, sunset tours, and these villas, these 4 villas. 1 villa for multifamily or large family, and then 3 villas for just couples. Let's say you've got a child that wants to sleep on a sofa. 3 people would be like the max for the smaller villas. And so that's been something that we've been working with DevCo and the Bahamian government to get approval on. And that doesn't conflict with our boating. It just enhances it in a different way. We would have a place to keep the boat essentially year-round. During named storms, we would probably retreat to Florida and tie up inland like we're doing now. But I don't know that that's necessary. And big storms like Dorian and I think Matthew, they don't come around all that often, and so you would have to keep an eye on the forecast and plan accordingly. But the other thing is you would work for yourself and you would work from home. And I like building things. You've seen all the fish out there that are going crazy?
Yeah.
There's big fish keep jumping. So anyways, that is the alternative to what the boating lifestyle would be, to just live aboard and travel full time. The truth is we don't really like the traveling part of it. We like the destinations. And so if the Bahamas was our destination and it was our home and it was our jumping off point for traveling, it would be that much easier to get to places like the Dominican Republic that we enjoy, because there's no Gulf Stream, there's no weather windows. Anything out of the north is perfect for us heading south. So heading south in the winter would be great. And then heading back during this hurricane season was phenomenal.
It's fantastic. It's sailing.
It's like right now, we're flying under spinnaker, we're in 13 knots of wind, we're doing about 6 knots on Lake Okeechobee, and it's been flat in the ocean, it's been flat in Lake Okeechobee, so it's wonderful. We would really like to stay in the United States because our family is here, and that means a lot to us. However, the United States has priced itself out of our budget. And land in Florida is ridiculously expensive. If you built an eco resort in Florida on our budget, it would be in the middle of the swamp. The mosquitoes would be so rampant, nobody would come, and you would probably lose your investment. I feel like the Bahamas is a destination that's exotic. Most people can't afford it. And so if you had a destination that was affordable and you made packages for people that were all-inclusive, to take the Balearia, to have a rental car, to have a villa, to have a boat waiting for them when they arrived, have you pick them up from the ferry terminal or the cruise terminal, it would open people's eyes up to that. They could come out and have an entire weekend in the Bahamas for $500. That would be entertaining. It could support, them and their family. And obviously, the bigger the family, the more it would cost. But I think people would be open to that pricing structure, as opposed to spending $2 or $3 grand to come to Florida, and it's so expensive to rent hotels, to rent cars. And it doesn't sound as exotic as getting over to another country. So,
well, on top of that, the Bahamian people are just so loving and welcoming and warm.
yes, they're Christ-centered, and their festivals are joyous.
Yeah, and so going to a place like that for vacation is different than going to Florida on vacation, where people are cranky and they don't give you the time of day, or they bite your head off, or they cut you off in traffic.
They hate tourists.
They hate tourists. The Bahamians, they love tourists. I mean, that is their livelihood, and they know it.
Mm-hmm.
And not only they know it, but they actually appreciate the tourists in a way that I've never experienced anywhere else I've traveled.
Yeah. So if you have any input, we'd love to hear from anybody. You know, nobody comments on our videos much, and that's okay. We don't film these for our family. Essentially, we film them for our memories, and we love to share our memories with our family. But this is a topic where it would be nice to have feedback from our friends and family. And as it gets closer, and as we get our permits, and as we get, you know, land acquired, we can post more about that. Obviously, you don't give away business ideas on the internet. You know, you won't succeed in life if you do that.
Yeah.
And so as it gets closer and we get more secured, we'll be able to share some more details with y'all. Any of our close friends and family, feel free to reach out to us. We can send you the packet that we submitted to Devco that has pictures and plats and ideas and price structure, and we can have a more intimate conversation. So we love you all. We're running out of memory for this video.
Yeah.
So anything you'd like to add in closing?
No, I think that covers pretty much it.
All right, well, we're going to stay in Florida for a couple months. The date today is like August 3rd, maybe.
Yeah.
And we're going to be doing some work on Happy Jack, building a glass enclosure around the hardtop to make it more of like a living room where we're sitting right now. And then have roll down screens for rain and roll down screens for bugs. So that'll take us a couple months to get that completed. And then we have to jump back into the rat race so that we can fund this up and coming project, whether it's a new boat, an eco resort, both. We'll see. So the future is bright. And thank you guys for sharing your love with us. We appreciate it. And we'll see you later.
Bye.